The biggest thing is just actually getting started and executing your plan. It's not so much planning, it's not so much coming up with the idea, it's actually just following through and doing it. Sometimes I think that's the toughest thing, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. And welcome to the first ever episode of the Mind Medicine Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Robert Gladue Jr. And today we are so excited to bring to you our first ever episode of the podcast. I thought it would be so cool to start the podcast with an episode focusing on just getting started. That's our topic today. We're going to talk about, just getting started on whatever goals that you have in your life, whatever dreams that you've dreamt up, whatever it is that you want to do in your life that you think that would make it special. We're talking about just getting started today. And so, what I'm talking about is, those times that you come up with an idea or you think of something and you think, how cool would it be if I could just do X, Y, Z? If I could just try it out and, see if maybe it takes me on a different path, see if it takes me somewhere, see if I experience some cool things. And those thoughts, they come up once in a while. They get you excited. They get you feeling good as you imagine the possibilities of what you can do, where you can go in this life. And those moments are really special moments because in those moments, you're connecting with your spirit. You're connecting with your spirit, and your spirit is trying to tell you, it's trying to guide you onto something. It's trying to lead you on a path that's saying, hey, maybe this is something that we should do. You know what I'm talking about. You know what it is for you. It's different for everybody, but there are those thoughts that come to your head. And when you think about those, that's your spirit trying to guide you towards something that's that's needed for you to experience. Something that's gonna make your time on earth here worth it. And that's what it's telling you. So maybe you should pick up on that. Just maybe. What if you just tried it out? What if you just got started? But just as soon as those thoughts come up, as soon as you start to get excited, there's that little voice in the back of your head that suddenly says, okay, whoa, 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 hold on, stop. Are you sure? Are you sure about this? I mean, what if what if now's not the time? What about your kids? What about your job? You can't just run off and go do these things. You have bills to pay. You have, food to put on the table. You don't have time. You have responsibilities here and there. And yes, that little voice, that's the one that I'm talking about, the one that stops you in your tracks. And that's what we're going to talk about today is how can we still make some time for ourselves to chase those goals that we want to chase, to do those things that we want to do, because you know what? Time is limited. Time is limited on this earth. You're only here for one little travel through it. And so you want to make it worth it. You want to make it worth your time. You want to do the things that you want to do while you have the time to do it. And we're going to talk about today how we can start. Because after all, that's what this episode is about, just getting started. And that's what we're doing. You know what? Most people are going through life on autopilot. They wake up, they go to school, or they go to their work. They do the work, they do the schooling, and then they come home. And then, they cook, they eat, they sleep, they do the same thing all over the next day. And they live life on autopilot. See, the thing is, our lives are almost scripted for us, almost written. Our path is set in place right from when we're small kids. We go to kindergarten, we go to school, grade 1 through 12. We graduate from school, we go to university, we get a good job, and then we just lose ourselves. We go into work and out of work and into work and out of work, and it just becomes so routine that by the time we stop to think about it, we're 40 years old and we realize half of our lives are gone already. And the last thing that we want, the last thing that I want for you guys is to go through your life, to get to the end of it and realize that you've never really actually done something that you wanted to do for you. That's the scary thing, if you're laying on your deathbed, you're looking up at the ceiling and you think, okay, what did I actually do with my life? I mean, yes, I raised my children. I taught them as well as I knew how to. I taught them what my parents taught me. I visited a few places in my time. I went here, I went there, I did this and I did that. But now it's done. And there's so much that I didn't do that I wish I could have done. And see, that's the last thing that I want for you guys listening out there. I'm not just saying we should drop everything that we're doing now and just start chasing our goals. Yes, that would be nice if it were that easy, but we have to be realistic as adults. We have responsibilities, we have our jobs, we have our children, we have bills to be paid and rent to be made. But that doesn't mean we should just succumb to the monotony of life. That's not what we were put here for. Originally, we're not supposed to be on this earth just to come here and to work and to pay our bills and die. We're supposed to come here to experience, to have a good time, to learn meaningful things, things of value to us. So we got to figure out, it's our responsibility to figure out, how do we make that happen? How do we live a life that is worth living while still juggling the daily responsibilities in our lives? Like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, that excitement that comes up, that's your spirit trying to connect with you and trying to tell you that, hey, maybe this is something worth looking into. And maybe you owe it to yourself just to figure out what that could be, what that could possibly lead to. Maybe there's a way that you can use your calling to live the life that you want to live and still be able to make an income that will support your family and pay your bills and pay your rent and whatever finances that you need without taking too much time from your life, so that you can still have a lot of time to do the things that you want to do on this earth while you're here with the people that you want to do it with. Now, I don't claim to have a plan for you. I don't have it all laid out. I don't know how it's going to work for you because we all have different individual circumstances. Take myself, for example. One thing that I always wanted to do was start a podcast. Why? Because it's my hope that someone, somewhere, at some point in time will listen to this podcast and it'll hopefully help them. It'll help them through whatever they're going through a time when they just need someone to talk to, someone to listen, and just need to hear some good words that could maybe help them think about things from a different perspective. It was important for me to get started. That's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing here on episode number 1, just getting started. The challenge is to figure out how to not listen to that voice inside your head that tells you that maybe you shouldn't do it. Maybe you should just try to keep yourself safe. Maybe you should just live life as you've always been living it. But that's the thing, like, there's this part of our mind, this part of our brain that's always trying to keep us safe and secure and keep us from being hurt or making mistakes or taking too many risks. That's just naturally how our brain operates. What we need to do is figure out how to bypass that. And the best way, I think, is by just getting started. It doesn't matter if you're not ready. It doesn't matter if you don't have anything in place. It doesn't matter if you don't have everything you need to get started, the biggest thing is just get started and you will figure it out along the way. The truth is, your circumstances are never going to line up for you. There's never going to feel like a time when it's the right time. So the best thing to do is just dive right into it. Whatever it is that you want to try out, whatever you want to do, start with an initial plan and then jump right into it head first. And so that way, when you do come to the end of your life and you are sitting on your deathbed, staring up at the ceiling, it's not going to be filled with regret. It's going to be filled with, you know what? We tried and we made it happen. We took risks. Maybe not everything worked out, but we had a damn good time. If you can think about anybody in your family that needs to hear this type of message, you see that they're onto something and they just need that little push, go ahead and share this episode with them. You can get them to follow and subscribe to the Mind Medicine podcast on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.